watch here, so they're going to have to be mindful of that as the rounds progress.
Every time I see Reyna, I always bring it up saying, oh, it's a terrible pick. You really have to be able to frag for it to work. And then the person who picks it is so confident and so good at the game that they do indeed frag, and it works out about as perfectly as it can. So usually I'd say that's not a very good pick unless you frag out, but I'm going to assume they're going to do so considering, you know, Chenmu is picking up the Reyna themselves. And at this point, we had the conversation of who picked which map. If I recall correctly, map number 1 here on Icebox was the selection of the Crescent Coyotes. Now, that means the Blue Devils chose the defensive side, as we have been told. But that defensive side, not as consistently good as it used to be. The attacking side has been favored on more maps, at least more often than not.
Standing ahead.
That's going to be a 5-stack. Recon to clear away from yellow. And a good wall to provide a lot of space here for the Coyotes as they descend into the B site. You see a full retake scenario for the Blue Devils, still mindful of that mid area. Watching over, waiting for a flank, and they're going to have this wall destroy. He's got that ready. That's going to be the free plant, like we talked about, Dan. It's going to be halted for a brief moment, but it will go down, and now, the time now. It's on the clock here for the Blue Devils to make a move and enter into the site. They're going to start pushing forward through the wall, bracing for impact, and you see all these players spread out across yellow, but it's going to be 2 quick kills in favor of the Blue Devils. We're going to hunt for more. 2 quick ones traded back for the Coyotes. It's a bloodbath on top of this B site. The bomb is the target, and it's the Coyotes now in a 2v1. Totono deals with it, a 3K for the KJ. It's pure, starting off the Coyotes with a first round victory and a great start to the series.
And a clean opening setup for them as well. They set themselves up well. The 5-stack rush straight on towards B, just gaining the space and then turning it into not only a spike plant, but a free bit of real estate, and honestly, pretty decent set of kills between the 2 Sentinels. 5K between them. Suppose Buddy Ace or combo kills, whatever you want to call it. But the conversation as well for the Blue Devils is they were still fairly proactive in their retake. By no means were they out of that round at any point, and you could show the spatial awareness was there, trying to take out what could have been nano swarms from the Killjoy if they were there. Obviously, we saw them not being so, but having the wherewithal in such a really bad situation like that to try and deal with it is pretty good for them.
This is where you have to remain confident in yourself. These eco rounds can go awry very quickly if you're not careful. You see all these angles being watched over as Pivers slowly turning the corner. Still no clue as to where these players are coming from. It's going to be a rotation off of the A site, faking towards A, going through back towards the B site. There was a bit of mid action early into the round. Didn't really result in too much. It looks like it's going to be a finish on B where that Viper Wall was before, Dan. That's going to be more space being provided for the Coyotes to get another free plant off.
Oh, and atrocious timing as well. You can see the rotation is already coming away. If they get this wall down in good time, I don't know if they're going to be able to deny this plant. They do get that poison or Viper's pit down. No, snake bite down. 3rd time's a charm. But the problem is they don't have all that much HP to work with. Sure, you have some utility on top of the spike, but you have to back away and play for another fight, because even as Destroy gets their own heal off, they're up to only 35 HP.
You really just have to go for broke. Pivers takes a hell of a lot of damage, has to back away. We'll get a good heal off, and now with a quick fire kill on a Mito, ascends, escalates up towards yellow. On top of the box, a 3K for Pivers. Can he make it 4? He does with the Marshall. It's easy kills there. A flawless round for the Coyotes. Exactly what you're expecting on this eco round. The Blue Devils, they made it tough, but were not able to deny that plant. And that just shows the safety of this Sage. But now with the guns online, Dan, this is where you want to see the Blue Devils start to gain some more control on the map and make it a little bit more difficult for the Coyotes to get that sort of space on site.
This is a required win as well here for the Blue Devils. If you give this up, that means Crescent are running away not only with the economy, but with this map and with a lot of momentum as well. You cannot allow them to continually build themselves up. They have a much better buy. They have rifles across the board. The only concession they had to take was a Guardian instead of a Vandal or a Phantom. Everybody on Crescent has a Spectre. The only one who doesn't is Pivers, who has a Marshall, but in all fairness, they also got a 4K in the previous round, so take that with a grain of salt.
Just a slow paced round. Wall actually going to be placed to deny that mid-entry, almost as if they're expecting some sort of flank into the A site. But you have 3 players now hovering around B. It almost seems like they want the Coyotes to push up into this tube area, and Ken Noob in a great position, has the head angle on lock. The timing is going to be everything. Sees a handful of players, looks for the Lear, looks for the kill, and he can't find it. The shots are whiffed, and Destroy Lonely, he's going to get a gun upgrade, give it over to Fivers, who now will have a free gun and free space in towards tube, and this is disastrous for the Blue Devils.
There's a flank being set up, though. You can see, at least over towards main, they were trying to set up, well, towards the backside of Cafe, they were trying to set up a flank, but it is being watched, so no real difficulties are shown at that point. But Crescent are going to take that regained rifle and just send it onto A. Nobody's here, at least not for the next few seconds. If they go now, they have a free avenue of attack. They should also have the element of surprise. That's been given up with the recon bolt, but it may not matter. Spike plant still imminent. Null point will land, but 0 point will land, but it really won't matter. Hokage finds 1 kill onto Pivers, but it's still a 4v4 and a forced full retake.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get that gun. It's on top of the box there. Zach. Stutter stepping inside. Destroy Lonely will fall to Maito. And the Devils, a decent start to this retake. There's the tap from Maito. Trying to force the issue. There's the kills flooding in for the Blue Devils. Everything going their way. It will be 1 kill for the Coyotes, but Zach on top and in form. A 3K for the KO. 1-2. And like you said, a must-win round for the Blue Devils. And they do it after a long, massive journey for the Coyotes. They go back and forth, finally end up finishing on A. And even with that early kill on to Ken Noob, was not enough to get it done.
Crescent on that attacking side, again in a good position, but the problem was SCP was similar to the pistol round, spatially aware of their situation, or situationally aware, if you will, alongside that spatial awareness. And their defensive side, on the retake, decided, well, we don't have to play aggressive for the spike plant. We can just play later because we have the weapon advantages. That all-important first kill is really what gave them the advantage, but it's now been taken away. Zach is dropped. Pivers up, significantly better than their Marshall, it seems, as they open things up, and now a 5v4 for Crescent.
Now you can't peek this. You can't go back and forth. Ken Noob understands that the operator is hawking down on this A site. And even a lurk present over towards B, just in case the Viper gets a little cheeky and tries to make space through B main. And again, the Coyotes, back and forth, not committing to anything too early, Dan. That's something I've noticed from these first 3 rounds. They don't want to commit to anything too crazy. They want to know exactly where every player is, and Maito could be forced off with a bit of utility. That's the recon art. It's going to actually reveal the Viper. That's troublesome. We'll be forced to back away, and again, a free plant scenario with that wall going down could be a formality, as the Coyotes will get more time to burn, and the Blue Devils struggling to deal with this retake scenario.
I don't think they put the wall in the correct spot. They should be able to still get the spike plant, especially with that poison cloud up, but the safety was not there. Destroy Lonely had to back away with that wall being broken. There's now a bit of aggression available here for SCP. Snakebite does miss, but Destroy Lonely does not. It's Maito now in a 1 versus 4. No utility whatsoever. They find a single kill, but it's a consolation prize at best. Crescent showing up once more, this time with rifles in hand, doing to the Blue Devils what was done to them in the previous round. Post-plant victory with 3 players alive.
Yeah, that was a great point, Dan. I didn't even notice the wall. Not in the best of positions, but it doesn't matter. The operator from Pivers just so difficult to deal with, and now it becomes a problem of how do you deal with this operator? How do you get this operator gone off the map? It's going to be difficult, because again, the Coyotes are playing so patiently. They get that 1 pick on A, you think, yeah, they're just going to rush it through. They take their time. They step away from the situation, reevaluate, reorient, and look for more, as now Pivers getting aggressive with the Blade Storm. Accelerates onto Ken Noob. Good trade from Maito over towards B main. And now good space here for the Blue Devils, but now they're getting flanked. Pincer maneuver on numerous fronts, and Pivers looking for more with the Blade Storm. Nothing the greatest of shots, but Destroy Lonely backs up his teammate. And it's a flood on the B site, and again, control for the Coyotes.
They didn't even need the second prong of that pincer maneuver either. Pivers showing up with the operator that time. Double with the Blade Storm, a follow-up with the operator, and they're not done. It's a 1v3 in a post-plant scenario, not impossible by any means here, but still a formidable situation for Model to try and come back in, especially with so many different angles being held, and most importantly, them being cleared out of the CT side.
They spotted him. There's just no time. Model just going to look for Some exit frags. I know he's over towards Snowman. Into the range of the op, and a 4K for Pivers, who is stuck on automatic with this operator in his inventory. 4-1 for the Coyotes, and now you're dealing with this sort of snowball effect, Dan, where the economy's not in your favor, the guns are not in your favor, really the entire game plan is falling apart. They did get some good space towards B main. Mito did his damnness, but it just was not enough. Too much space and just so quick. Pivers, with that Blade Storm, is able to do damage, and now you have that Killjoy lockdown. You can go over towards A, place that on top of pipes, and that could be a free site take for the Coyotes. So now, just sort of recycling these ultimates could be troublesome for the Blue Devils as they head in to round number 6.
The other commitment with ultimates could also be there. With so many players close to theirs, if you get it and use it immediately and try to use so many in quick succession, that'll cost you later on. Sure, it'll get you a single round, but if you use all 5 of your ultimates in a single round, you're not going to find all that much off the back of it. If you do, however, find a Sheriff headshot to start things off, you're in a pretty good spot. The problem is, Resurrections exist, as does Destroy Lonely, who is also headshot from long range. Pivers gets their revenge onto, I believe, a comrade of Pivers, but it doesn't really matter. Still a 5v3. That resurrection all important.
They're back towards B, and nobody's really on the site. Hokage Zach is in the vicinity. He'll throw a molly. Could find the kill, just narrowly avoids the damage. Destroy Lonely will implant the spike on top of B, and time now on the clock for the Blue Devils. Have a Viper Spit to get in, but have no guns to work with, so could just be another situation of playing this one slow, looking for exits, looking for some quick kills. Pivers, again, a 3K with the operator, moving in such difficult spots for the Blue Devils. And Model in trouble. Again, he was hitting some Sheriff shots earlier, does find one onto JXQ. Can he do much more? It's just so tough with this operator. You're going to have to hope for, if you're a Blue Devils fan, that they, once they acquire these guns, Dan, are able to deal with this operator. Because you can't just rely on Model getting 3Ks, getting these Sheriff shots. Eventually, you're going to have to find a way to dispel of this operator for the Coyotes.
The operator up against pistols or otherwise looking clean as ever. All 5 ultimates available here for the Blue Devils. I still think they may run into a problem that I mentioned in the previous round, where everybody presses their whatever ultimate keybind they have. For me, it's like my Q, I think, because I try to equate it to Overwatch. Don't accidentally press your ult button, by the way, kids, because it can cost you more often than not. Crescent Coyotes, on the other hand, they only have one. It's that lockdown you're talking about, and they still have yet to use it. I think now would be a pretty good time for them to do so. Bait out a few ultimates from the Blue Devils and possibly create some more space for themselves as well.
Look at the space again. Mito, though, is not cleared away. This might be a bit of trigger discipline. Will they do their due diligence and clear this corner? That's the question. Actually, Zach falls. He sees the operator. 1! Doesn't find 2. That's pivotal. Hudat, a barrage of bullets flood his way, and now it's just going to be another rotation. They know all of these players have rotated over, and they have Totono on this flank. He's hearing all the noise in the world. He's going to wrap around for a flank opportunity. Kennu jumps into the crosshair of the Killjoy, and the Coyotes are just out-macroing the Blue Devils currently.
At crowd control as well, using their utility to create some space for themselves, and when it's not immediately theirs, they either take the gunfights or back away. With that 1-for-1 trade, they're in a decent spot, but the resurrection coming through makes it a 3v3. This round now far from over. Limited utility, albeit, available. Only a slow orb and some duelist util, alongside the Empress now being used. The Blue Devils want this round, and they're going to try and go for it.
But the lineup Larrys, they're in chat in full force. Coyotes are not going to give them the time of day. The drone, so much information. They know exactly where Ken Noob is. The timing, Destroy Lonely will fall. The defuse starts for Hudat. A difficult shot there for Jack Black 9, but he's able to square away and find the kill. And JXQ takes down Model. Hudat can't do much of anything. The lineups, too much time burned off the clock. The Blue Devils, they burned so much to get into that round. The Revive, the Empress, and they still fall short.
You know, I'm not going to say I called it, but they just used 3 ultimates. All in fairly quick succession. The null command fairly early, trying to create some space, and honestly, I think it was also to bait in Mito a little bit, to try and allow themselves to just hide and not go check. It worked a little bit, but they only found 1 kill off the back of it. Resurrection, sure, worked out fairly well. Made it a 3v3, but the Empress, I think, an overcommitment in that fight. And now you're down to 2 here on the Blue Devil side. You didn't even come out with a round victory. The Coyotes used, what, some extra guns, but not a single ultimate. And now coming into this 8th round of play, they're looking even further ahead. Hudat playing a near pixel angle across. Chennu trying to clear out Maze, but is immediately taken care of. And there's that lockdown you were talking about. They do create some space for themselves, and especially a 2-for-1 trade. This is a problem for the Blue Devils to play against.
Just gonna have to give the plant. And you still have that Sova present for those lineups if you so choose. Tono gonna get in a really decent spot. Pivers just fragging out.
Player standing.
It's the headshot on Hudat. What a wonderful shot there out of the jet, and now it's just easy pickings. Jack Black 9 going to get in on the action. 7-1 for the Coyotes, who are hounding and surrounding the Blue Devils in every turn. And again, another bye. This is the chance here for the Blue Devils to come into form and get something done. And so far, the Duelists have not been able to get anything going. And credit that to Pivers. 17-4 so far after 8. Completely dominating the opposite side. The Operator was one thing, showing he can do it on the Vandal as well. And just at some point, potentially you have to go aggressive, but they're dealing with that so quickly. Model died like 3 seconds into the round, Dan. They try to get rid of that flank opportunity, and they do so effortlessly well. The Coyotes now moving in through mid on top of Pipes. Fiver finally will go down. Maito kills the raid boss, but isn't enough. That's the question.
Only 1 kill found, and now a 2-for-1 trade again here for the Crescent Coyotes. If these were not high schoolers, I'd say make a drinking game if you could find a man advantage fairly early on in a round, because they look so clean, so consistently on the Coyote side. I was looking for some creativity here for the Blue Devils, but the Coyotes have done just that. Lonely, a double, now make it a triple on the round, and it's a 1v3 for Chennu, and they have to compete with a Viper's Pit and 3 players on the opposing side, and there's a flank set up behind them. They are so far removed from this round, I don't even know if they have the idea that there's a flank set up.
Okay, we just gotta take some fights. He'll plunge into the Viper's Pit, looking for action. Turns the corner, takes down JXQ. The Viper's Pit will diminish. Finds the player at Snowman. Long-range logistics for Ken Noob. He can't hit the shots. Destroy Lonely with a 4K. A quadra there for the Sage. 8-1 for the Coyotes, dispatching the Blue Devils, and that's the bye. And now you're back to square one. And it just is really getting difficult right now for the Blue Devils to find any ground in this game, Dan.
The real estate control has been their main problem. That and Pivers. Let's be real here. Pivers going 17-5. They have very sparsely been shut down, and even when they have, the rest of the team, there for the Coyotes, shows up. For instance, Pivers was the first death in the previous round. And then Destroy Lonely was like, well, actually, I want to find a 4K. And then did so. There's problems continually mounting here for the Blue Devils' defense. And they're finding a few solutions, but they're not all coming together at the exact same time, which is becoming their problem. If they can find opening kills and real estate at the same time, and create some more space for themselves while also not losing players to do so, that's when they're going to start to flourish. I got you. Pivers, opening kill onto Hudat, talking about shutting down that jet, problems still mounting and no solutions in sight. A follow-up onto Chenoob as they are now up to 19 kills. And the Blue Devils are exiled from the site. No way in. The only way out is a 6-foot grave, of which I think is less than ideal for them. And Model, wasting no time trying to get in, will do a decent bit of damage and actually drops Jack Black 9 through the wall. But that's only 1 kill back. They still have to gain all this hell real estate, and they don't have the freedom to do so. Destroy Lonely. There's one. A second found as well. They know where Model is, and they're hounding him from so many different angles. Destroy Lonely with 7 kills in 2 rounds. And the Blue Devils walk away with so much dominance, they have no way to get into the site. Still frozen. Well, while he gets his technical issues sorted, the Blue Devils, I think, are going to be working on counter-stratting Pivers, who is not stopping anytime soon. And the Crescent Coyotes, on this attack, They are so consistent. And most importantly, their attacking half is looking clean for them to gain that real estate. They know what they want to do, and they know how they want to do it. Bladestorm up and over. Pivers readjusts and finds the kill. Not even shooting at Houdat off the bat, and yet still is able to find the frag. A follow-up onto Model, some help from Totono in through mid, and a 1v4, 1v5 actually for Maito. But they only find 2 kills off the back of it, and the Crescent Coyotes at 10 rounds here in the first half.
I can see now. Didn't miss much, clearly. Didn't miss much of anything. Back to Pivers, just doing what he does best. 21, 7, and 5, 10-1 for the Coyotes, and it's really just becoming difficult. And this is why they picked Icebox. I mean, you know, 10-1, showing why this is their map choice, and it's just been so difficult for Houdat, KenNoob to really get much of anything done. And like you've been saying, credit that to this jet carry. Pivers doing everything he can to make this as quick as possible. Shot goes wide there for Houdat. Pivers drops in, dash, updraft, everything in the kitchen sink being used. The anime battle for Pivers can't do much though as he gets sprayed by KenNoob. Will go down, but again, the res at the perfect time gets the raid boss back up and running. The site still being contained and controlled by the Coyotes, but finally the Blue Devils have some semblance of control.
Last player standing.
Oh, now you're frozen now. Well, Totono in a 1v3. We'll find one before finally being taken down. Maito with the 3K. And the Blue Devils scrape together 2-round victories before it's all said and done in the first half of play. And you have to say, a disastrous start for the Blue Devils in the playoffs here. 2-10. Now, it's going to be all relying on this pistol round. You lose this one, and it really becomes an uphill battle from there.
Well, the comeback needs to be there sooner rather than later here for the Blue Devils. I suppose a pistol round would be a pretty good start to come back into this. Not a single set of shields bought for anybody other than Totono. Everybody else upgrades their pistol. We have, what, 7 Ghosts of Frenzy? What, 6 Ghosts of Frenzy and whatever JXQ brings in? Oh, okay, everybody's selling. You know, who wants to allow me to
They're baiting you
before the round starts? Honestly, it seems like when I try and call Overwatch compositions before the rounds actually start, where everybody just changes and spawn doors. It's a whole ordeal. Blue Devils need to go, and they need to go now. Their aggression on towards A, however, is being met with aggression through mid, and silent aggression at that. The Crescent Coyotes have all of the elements of surprise they need. It's going to be a jump scare as they walk in through main.
Oh, and they're not aware. And they get collapsed on. KenNoob will find one. Totono hears a lot of noise behind him. Pivers with these sheriff shots. He's even on point. Totono, Pivers. He'll be good for one more. And Zach will fall. And again, that instant flank from the Coyotes, just too much to bear for the Blue Devils. They don't expect it. They don't anticipate it. And they get punished for it. How do we get the plant down? And, I mean, you're forcing up here. You're buying the Stingers. You're buying the Marshals. No way you see yourself coming back into this one if you don't buy right now. And, you know, again, maybe you just go for the 5-stack through A, look for a kill on that one player that is there, and just hope for the best. At this point, there's not really much more game sense required. Just run and shoot, hope you get kills. At this point, it's really what it comes down to, Dan. Just nothing has been working. A good tap shot there from Pivers. Good 100 on Houdat. They're going to head into the site. Full steam ahead. KenNoob leading the charge with the Stinger in hand. Looking for this early contact. We'll find Jack Black 9 going down as J kicks Q as well. And the Stinger's in full force, grabbing 2 kills.
Finally, advantages here for the Blue Devils. 2 players on half HP, one on just about a quarter. The Crescent Coyotes far from out of this round, but by no means do they have advantages like we've seen from them prior. The aggression starting to come in, this time from screens. Flex aggression now from that heaven position as well, but everything's being watched. Zach dropping Pivers, that carry gone. Swarmgrade around the corner should be able to drop Houdat, but they've been suppressed. Totono cannot use it when they please, and that should be the round. There just is not
not enough time for the Crescent Coyotes to go here, and they should be backing up, but Destroy Lonely doesn't want to give it up so easily. At a bare minimum, they want to do the damage, and they've done so at least to the economy. Now just one player left alive is Chen Noob. They should die here. No, running out of ammo. Totono, second time on 1 HP. Everybody dies in the round, but the Blue Devils still come out on top.
And it will be a round victory, but like you said, the damage has been done. We're going to get a pause here. Not sure if this is a tech pause or a player pause, but whatever the case may be. Trying to get everything situated. Just, yeah, we're going to go over to the desk here, just trying to break everything down. 3-11 in this first game. Blue Devils struggling to get things going with this double duelist comp, and like we said at the beginning of the game, there's a lot of pressure on Houdat, on Ken Noob to get things done, get frags. And at the end of the day, you can't rely on your KO the entire round, the entire game. You have to be able to frag at some point. It just has not been the case. As we've been mentioning, Pivers has been on full display. Pretty sure now he's at 21 kills or so, and he is really showing why he is so dominant. 23. You know, MJ, right? He's the GOAT for a reason. So he's been popping off, and looks like this tech issue is going to be a little longer than we anticipated, so we're going to go to a quick break, try to make everything situated and work out. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
The 0 point, the fragment, very helpful, and obviously your flashes that you're almost entirely missing, unless, I suppose you could count the C's, maybe? I don't know. You're stretching on that one. So this is an odd situation for the Blue Devils defense to now be in. Nope, the Coyotes defense to now be in. Sides are switched.
Well, we'll see what the changes are here. If now, again, this double duelist comp can find success, if they can use Ken Noob's utility, if they can use those smokes to find the right angles to get into the site, that's what's most important for both of these sides. The graphic is swapped for us and for you at home. They're trying to bait us, trying to make it a little difficult for us, keeping us on our toes.
They want to see a third map. They're going to
Exactly.
manifest a third map because of graphics. I love it. Another setup we're seeing as well here for Crescent is that same thing we saw back in the pistol round in the second half on Icebox, where they're fully flanking around this A main side. And if they have the correct timing, the Killjoy may be outside the vicinity of their alarm button, but no. The alarm bot will see at least one player. How many? To be determined. But they have to worry about this flank, and Mito finds an opening kill. Crescent need to retake, and quickly so, but they found that 1-for-1 trade.
The player up from heaven, Totono! He deals with that.
Second time's the charm.
Exactly. The grenade lofted up towards heaven, still a 2v2, still somehow, someway the Coyotes have a way into this round. It's because of Destroy Lonely with a 4K. Totono empties the mag, the bullets, finding everything but the skull of his opponent. Paints a picture around. That's great. That's great.
On the bright side, Totono, when they go to college, they will probably have the best of scholarships for art, considering the outline they just drew was Picasso-esque. It was pretty clean, if I do say so myself. Crescent's defense starts off with a pistol round victory. We saw that back in both halves in our first map of play. And I gotta say, Blue Devils need a round, and quickly so, but this is not going to be the round they find, unless there's some heroics from Mito. There's very low likelihood of 3 classics, a shorty, and a sheriff finding a few frags that they need.
Good thing for the Blue Devils is they know that flank is imminent. They know that the Coyotes are going to be more active in the map. But now with the gun disadvantage, if you're the Blue Devils, really all you can do is create some space and hope for the best. But Jack Black 9 silences the fade in through mid, and Mito even got a Marshall tag onto him. The head barely peeks out. Pivers aggressive, dashing forward after the Marshall shot, looking for more, but now in a whole world of trouble. Aims, steadies it, hits the shot onto Mito. The Killjoy will fall. And it's just an absolute bloodbath in through mid, but Pivers does not give a damn. He's got the gun upgrade, he's got the better guns. And just nothing really that the Devils can do. Just looking for something. Zach somehow finds 2 kills with the shorty. Don't know how that really happened, but it still did. Jack Black 9 with the Spectre up through mid. And it's a 3v2. And for now, the dust will settle.
What in the world is going on at this point as well? The Blue Devils are so split. One in A main, the other one in mid. But Piver, sitting at the backside of A main, finds a kill on a model in mid. And now has to worry about A main again. And is looking in that general direction, and the timing's probably going to lead him to a kill. No, he gets headshot, somehow still survives. Switches to the secondary, but still dies. Ace clutch possibility here for Hokage Zack, as they will retrieve the spike. The problem is that A site that was previously entirely undefended now possesses a Sova sitting in heaven, of whom we'll find a final headshot kill required, and the Crescent Coyotes win the conversion, albeit in a very chaotic way.
Had to be some crazy TP plays. Get those shorty kills. Had to be. But love to see it. At least someone here for the Blue Devils is trying to get some rounds together. It's still good damage. Now the buy is going to be a little awkward. Some sheriffs will now be in place of those specters for the Coyotes. But again, they're just looking for some more space, looking for kills here on this bonus round. We'll see if they go back through mid. That was an aggressive angle Piver's played with earlier with that flash. Looks for the play. Nobody was playing up through tiles, and Maito deals with the jet early on. Collapses on the duelist. And a couple of barrels are located. Maito finds 3 and erases the defense of the Coyotes, and now the Blue Devils will be able to collapse towards the B site potentially. Unless Totono has anything to say about it. A good dink, but nothing more. That should be it, as JXQ will fall.
Model walking forward as well. This should be a fairly clean... No, I looked away for a second. I was about to say they should find the fairly clean final kill, but they did already. Don't mind me. Crescent, now, this is a similar situation to what they had back on Icebox, just the same, where they picked up pistol round, conversion round, they lost the bonus, which is understandable, but now they're heading into the rifle with rifles across the board. And the Devils need to be able to win this round. They cannot allow the Coyotes to again get just so far ahead that it's difficult to come back from off the get-go.
Really hot. They heard a lot of shots. I can assume the Coyotes are thinking more than one player. Early smoke deep in through A main. Orb will be acquired from Maito, and that's the lockdown actually available for the Blue Devils if they want to use it to take control of this A site. Won't cover the entire part of it. Leave some space up towards heaven, but it will still force the Coyotes off of the site. They're trying to plant, looking at each other, hyping each other up, ready for Model to dash in. And still worried about that flank area, Dan, because that's been such a deep part of the Coyotes' defense, is working through this mid area and getting kills that way as well.
Problem is here for the Blue Devils is gaining that actual control. With the lack of a KO and really only a fade to initiate, the problems will be finding openings, especially when Destroy Lonely is just finding casual 3Ks from heaven on the backside of their dark cover, and they're still on 26 health, make it a 4K because Hokage Zack did not want to survive any longer. Chenoob in a 1v4 finds a first ace possibility here for Destroy Lonely. I think they're going to be set up for it. Here's a Prowler around the corner. It should find one, but it will also be shot out at the same time. Haunt to follow up. The Owl drone does miss, but I don't think it'll really matter. Destroy Lonely playing a pixel angle for the back corner of site, looking for this kill. Unfortunately, will not be able to find it. No ace possibility, but there's only 12 seconds left. A follow-up kill from Chenoob. Hold the phone. No, they would have had to grab the spike and that kill. They do neither, and the Crescent Coyotes do indeed win the first gun.
Holding your breath there for just a moment, but it's all for nothing. And I said there was going to be some space. Even though that lockdown does go through, you can still fire shots up through heaven and Destroy Lonely. He's just a better athlete at the end of the day. Gets a 3K into a 4K. I mean, at that point, you're just shaking your head if you're the Blue Devils and saying, well played. Because you had the setup, you had the jet dash ready, but as soon as Model falls, that's your main entry tool gone. As Choco wasn't there instantly. Now they're playing close. Piver is confident in himself, but he deals with Chenoob, who's the main man previously, who was feeling hot. He'll find that first kill for the Blue Devils, and now the Nightfall is ready and available. Do the Blue Devils pull off this, though? That was something that the Coyotes were so good at doing, is in recognizing difficult situations to entry and moving towards the opposite site, and looks like they're going to do exactly that, as A is completely free.
The Crescent Coyotes are understanding that now, already looking to flex that way. Full site control now gained for the Blue Devils, but I don't think they're going to be able to freely take Heaven, and actually they'll just smoke it off. So a fairly quick retake is being set up. 2 players already here, a third already on the rotation, and a 4th being set up. And most importantly, Destroy Lonely is going around towards main. They'll look to set up this retake, but they have to clear out Wine Cellar, and there's a crossfire being held from the site itself.
It's a big 1v1. Choco's got to win this. The timing's going to be on his side. The flash is popped out from Lonely at the worst possible moment. But it doesn't matter. The kills are pouring in for the Blue Devils, who are finally clicking on all cylinders. A flawless round for the Blue Devils out of Florida. 3-2. And they're already making waves. I mean, that was more rounds than they had last game. And they're tying them right here. Only took 5 rounds, Dan. So, I mean, it's already improvement. Already. Love that.
Crescent, and look at their buddy. They're basically broke at this point. They had not really forced themselves to buy all that much. If they do send themselves too far forward, they're giving up better possibilities later on. Piver's buying a Sheriff, sure. I understand the Sheriff and Stinger buys, but no reason to overcommit, and they won't. They'll just try and play for a, hey, if we get the opportunity to find a few kills, we could probably get them, but other than that, they're not overcommitting, and I appreciate it.
I'm going to play this one very slowly. That early recon dart did spot 1. As Piver is now just lingering around mid. Smoke will cover up Cat, and a counter smoke to Tiles. So again, mid is where a lot of this action, a lot of this control has to come from. Fade-Eye will be destroyed, but it's leaning towards B with 4 players in the general direction. Smoke should be layered down momentarily. But it's how you get in, that's the problem. No Nightfall to play with. You have all the Fade utility in the world. But how do you get in? A great recon dart again to force away. And now they're going to rotate. With 45 seconds, still plenty of time, Dan. This Cat kill is going to be crucial. Let's see how many JX you can get. 1. Looks for another. As the dog doesn't actually get the fear off. Will go down for his troubles. Does get his 1, but isn't enough to force back the Blue Devils as they head into the A site with such poise, such precision. Nothing stopping them as they're going to get the plant down.
Nice setup as well. They tried the hole in the defensive side, but it was just torn apart. And Totono at this point, either back away now and save what you can from somebody else, or go for it and try and take weapons away. One or the other. You cannot afford to just kind of sit around and do very little overall. Just give up free rifles across. Models jump up. Could have been shut down, but no, Totono missed the opportunity. Setting up the turret now, trying to keep themselves safe, but there's still no easy way forward, and Model will shut them down. No way to take rifles away, and the Blue Devils now beating their previous total. At 3 apiece now, the Crescent Coyotes are on the back foot, but they will have a bye once more.
Confidence is there. And so far, Pivers has not had the resources to get that operator online. And I'm wondering when that will be the case. Potentially here, as he's going to go for the Blade Storm. We've seen in previous iterations how aggressive he has been, trying to use Destroy's utility, trying to use those Fade haunts to get more space. He's going to be postured over towards A main. There's the early flash and the dash, as you can see, as he gets all that control of A main. And that's going to give over towards the B site. Hey guys, they're probably towards B main. And that turret barely gets contact. Boombot to entry. But how do you get in again? Look at the flank. It's coming through here. They finally know, and they deal with it. JXQ will fall as well. A 5v3 instantaneously for the Blue Devils, who have their pick of the litter of where they want to go next.
Seems like they want to head themselves over towards A, which is the correct decision. Lonely gets there and should get there in time, but not fully enough to shut down this push entirely. And because of that dark cover up towards Heaven, look at that free space. It's free real estate for the SCP Blue Devils A squad. And just like that, similar situation to what we had just a few rounds ago, where there's very little that the Crescent Coyotes can do about this. But good usage of the Hunters here alongside the Recon Bolt. Detects 3 players, kills 1, but a flank to a flank as Hokage-Zak in mid. They're, however, very separated from their team.
And the blind there from Hokage-Zak deals with Jack Black 9, still destroy around on the site, squares away, finds Ken Noob's skull, bludgeons the Fade. It's 2v2. And now Choco in a pivotal 1v1 as the smoke will go down, layering, and a headshot there for the Omen. Looking for more.
What?
with just so much pace, just racing forward onto the site. I don't know how anyone shoots him. He's elusive, Dan. Nobody can touch him. 11-5 on this Omen.
Massive shout out to Destroy Lonely for taking over Piver's PC and Pivers to switch back and allow their teammate to frag out this time around. Because honestly, it is looking so clean for just a couple players at a time for the Crescent Coyotes. Those singular pop-offs are working well enough. And when the Blue Devils find a single kill, for instance, Lonely's died 5 times. They haven't won a round every single time. The rest of the team, similar to that at back on Icebox, is stepping up when required and finding the kills they need to keep themselves on top.
Early drone. All about the timing. Model right into the skull of Pivers. That's one of the duelists gone. Good use of the Fade Haunt. The Fade Prowler, excuse me, but it doesn't matter as Zach and Chen Noob will find 2 kills of their own. It turns this now into a man advantage for the Blue Devils, who have A control. The bomb will be escorted towards that general area unless Pivers has anything to say about it. We'll find Maito, but that's not the bomb. Crucially for the Blue Devils, they get this down, and now time is now on the clock for the Coyotes to make an entrance, and they're looking to flank here from A main.
May work. Choco could get caught out here. Pivers hasn't made a sound. We'll switch out for the Vandal, and we'll swing. Now a 3K for them. They are activating once more. Chenoob up in heaven, playing through the window, is taken care of by Jack Black 9 and Hokage Zach on the backside of Generator. Not even able to find damage, much less a kill. And the Crescent Coyotes away with another spike and sight retake, and now 5 rounds to their total.
Yeah, that round gets really difficult once Choco loses that 1v1 to Pivers, because now you're dealing with 2 fronts of damage, one from A main, one from Tree, and it was just overarching aggression that the Blue Devils could not contain, could not deal with, and a 5-3 advantage for the Coyotes, now looking to use some of these defensive ultimates for this retake. They have the lockdown, they have the Nightfall to play with, so if you can keep JXQ and Totono alive, that could be an avenue back into the site if they do want to give over the site, because you're going to have the Bladestorm, we're going to have this showstopper online, and that's the question if Choco will pull the trigger and look to play aggressively, as it's going to be a double reveal on both the duelists, I believe, so now they know exactly where this entrance is going to come from. There's the Boombot for the early clear. They're not actually going to find Pivers, who's still tucked. They don't know he's there. Will that cause Choco to overcommit? Doesn't look like it. They're going to backtrack and try to reorient and figure out where the best spot to go is.
Pivers is still just playing patient as well. The trigger discipline and the discipline to just wait, not even hold their trigger, just not over-aggress. There's no need to play aggressive in this situation, and the Crescent Coyotes know this. They have played so well disciplined throughout this series, and that's just showing right now. Their map control is just about as good as it was at the beginning of the round, and there's not a whole lot the Blue Devils are able to do about it. Yeah, they're getting some mid-real estate, but not all that much off the back of it. Totono will have to back away, but that's about it.
Good alarm bot. Totono now bracing for impact. 40 seconds, leaning towards this A site. JXQ will deal with the controller. Now no way to cover this entrance as Totono in an imperative spot. He's got to get at least 1 kill to make this right. The barrel spotted. That's 1. Can't find 2. Choco with a phenomenal trade. Maito deals with the fade over towards A. The double satchel back, looking at the movement. It's going to be over towards B, but they still don't know Pivers is here. Remember, all the way back at the beginning of the round, the Boombot did not catch the Jet, and it cost them big as Pivers grabs 2. Can he make it 3? Sensational. A sizzling shot there out of the Jet makes it 6, and the Blue Devils, again, they buy all that time, they use all that utility, but they lose crucial members over towards A. No smokes means you don't know where they're coming from, and this is the replay here from Totono, who grabs that first kill onto Model, and everything falls apart from there.
You know, yesterday was Easter, so I figured I'd bring a minor reference to patience and how it was shown throughout. Job was always known for being patient. If any of you are religious or non-religious, you may know that, you may not. Theologians, whatever. But patience has always been a difficult prospect for people when it put forward with, I don't know, 3 players walking around them, for instance. Granted, a Valorant reference to patience, maybe not the greatest one in this situation, but you're still looking at the play there again from Pivers and saying, how do you hold your nerve for so long? Almost a minute gone, if not more in that round, minute and 10, 15 seconds, where you just wait in the exact same corner, patiently, people to walk around you, and you may not even know if they're heading in your general direction, but the patience works out, and it pays off in dividends, as you saw. Clean 3K, and now a doubled up lead for the Crescent Coyotes, picking up where they left off on Icebox.
Where do you go from here? 4 ultimates to play with if you are the Blue Devils. Crucially, that lockdown, double duelist ultimates as Pivers aggressively shifting forward. Doesn't have the dash, used it to get over, and Chenoob in a really awkward angle. Pivers doesn't expect it. Now JXQ's on the wrong side of things. He'll be taken down. That's 2 quick kills for the Blue Devils, who will now use this as momentum into the A site. The smokes are layered, and now it's all up to Destroy Lonely to get something done. He's made magic happen before. Can he do it here?
Oh.
Just a sliver of him was exposed. He gets taken down, and that's the A site controlled and contained by the Blue Devils.
Valiant effort there from Lonely as well, but the clear was near perfect, forcing him out of position and making sure that all the T's were crossed, all the I's were dotted, and all the places that you can hide on site were indeed cleared away. Jack Black 9, now in a 1 versus 5, has very little time in the grand scheme of things, considering they still need 4 more kills. Model's fairly low, but Chenoob, oh, what a toss with that seize. Jack Black 9 now deafened inside of it. Does regain their hearing and their health, but I don't think there's all that much they can do off the back of it. This should be a fairly definitive save, but they're going to try and go for it. And they'll find a follow-up kill, so 1 for 1, and the damage was done, at least in terms of a little bit of economy, but the Blue Devils are still very happy with that result.
Absolutely. Getting those first 2 kills over towards A main, and the aggression from Pivers, it looks good when it works, but there just didn't have enough information on where the players were, and credit that to the Blue Devils, playing back, understanding that they know the aggression will come through. They have done that play before. They've done it with an Omen Flash. This time they use the Fade utility. They understand that Pivers is going to play aggressive with those dashes. They play a little bit further back, and they punish the Jet for it. Bladestorm will be active here for Model. We'll look to him to make a play. And again, Dan playing back, waiting for utility, waiting for more information on where these players are. And let's see if the op does find success in through tiles. This could be a huge kill for Pivers if someone from the Blue Devils gets a little bit too antsy, but the timing is there for the attacking side. And just waiting around tiles, just waiting for more information.
Still going back to patience. Crescent Coyotes not over-aggressing in a lot of these fights. Pivers was baited into it, though, and Maito was killed off the back of it. Good setup for the Coyotes around that catwalk position, and now, what's the decision for the Blue Devils? They're out of commission. They're losing their killjoy, and all the information they need now on this defensive side is there. Trying to use a showstopper forward, but they're caught inside a nanoswarm. Jack Black 9 still somehow dies to it, but here's Pivers. Not done just yet. 1 kill there, looking for another onto Choco. Will they find it? No, just barely missing the shot, but still a 4v3 here for the Coyotes.
30 seconds left.
Choco exposed, taken down. Pivers on pace for the ace with the operator in hand and the rest of his comrades in tow. No dash available, looking for the shot there towards Boathouse. It's all up to Ken Noob, who finds 1. Can he find much more? The answer is no, as Totono shuts down really the main man for this Blue Devils squad in game number 2. And it's again, Pivers on this operator. How do you deal with it? What is the answer? And it really is just kind of hoping he misses. It's at that point where he's so good, it just comes down to, is he going to hit it? Is he going to miss? And there's no real flashes to use to remove that Jet from this defensive anchor, and you just have to dry peek it, and Choco can't do much, and Pivers, he's so good, he's going to hit those shots.
Making sure you clear what you need, and Pivers making sure they clear the Blue Devils entirely. Now a 3-round lead once more. Seemingly been the consistent notion throughout a lot of this map thus far.
But the Coyotes are guessing incorrectly this time around. A little bit more of a stack over towards the B side, as we've seen multiple times from them, don't get me wrong. But the Nightfall should find 3 players. No, only finds 2, so a small lack of information, but still information nonetheless. And off the back of that Nightfall, you can see the Blue Devils are actually heading over towards the B side, and this is being held. Operator of Pivers is out. Owl drone in through main. This is a problem for the Blue Devils on that B side. You can see exactly why. Pivers finds the kill there. A follow-up from Jack Black 9 there for the support. Looking for a follow-up? No, it's actually a double return as we're down to the 3v3.
The timing is brutal. JXQ, with a good spray, takes down Model. A 3v2 situation for the Coyotes. There's a lot of action towards that tiles area. All about the timing. But now with 45 seconds just about, gonna have to make a move. But this alert bot's in the perfect spot. And it's gonna get triggered. Totono just playing off his utility. Here's the noise, takes the shot. Well, miss. As Maito beats him to it. And this will be the B site for free. And the answer is, can they find enough space? They're trying to clear main, they're trying to clear the right areas. And they're gonna have the lockdown for this too, Dan. So this is gonna be a lot of time burned off the clock for the Coyotes. As soon as this goes down, they're going to have to instantly move forward. Does he use it instantly?
Lockdown should be used here. If they use it a little bit too late, the aggression could still be there and they could spray it if they need to. The problems will be if you wait too long, there's still so much utility usage available here for this now post-plant attacking side. There's no easy way in. There's the lockdown finally being used. The problem is, can they find the kills off the back of it? The answer, very much yes. Choco clean double with the Guardian. And the Blue Devils finish off well. Now onto the defensive side of their own map selection. They're not in the lead, but they're fairly close to it.
This is the Blue Devils we wanted to see. Fighting back, doing what they do best, playing scrappy, playing committed, Valorant, 7-5, looking to survive, move in to a map number 3, and try their best to continue their playoff run. But now we move over to a very important pistol round for both squads. For the Coyotes, you want to win this and continue your dominance into this attacking half, and for the Blue Devils, you want to silence this offense and start to move into a comeback scenario. It's going to be a 5-stack over towards B. Let's see if the Blue Devils can sniff this out early and then make the rotations come through. And obviously a flank could be a possibility as there's no real flank watch besides that turret. That's going to be a lot of aggression. Pivers down to 2 HP though. He's so low. He's got so many angles to worry about, and the aggression is silenced. These frenzies, so hard to deal with. And now it's a 4v2. The Coyotes in trouble. Now they're being hounded. They're being dealt with. Totono with 1. Totono with 2. How is this turning around? Maito loses that 1v1. Now Totono with a 3k. He's got 9 HP in a dream in this very big pistol round for both sides.
Oh, and Hokage Zack is actually playing aggressive and has now been heard. The aggression could be there. They should know he's walked around towards Catwalk. Does Zack look behind him? That's the real question. The answer seems to be yes, and he does indeed. The right click from the classic, just barely there for the kill. And the Blue Devils should be thanking their lucky stars they still won that pistol.
Oh my word, it was so bad at the start, but somehow Totono turns lemons into lemonade here. Gets 1, gets 2. It was just the timing. And that first shot he had him. Just did not hit. That's Valorant for you. Sometimes the bullets are not going to find their target. Now a big round of win for the Blue Devils. They're going to get the upgrades. They're going to be feeling themselves. But still, you have to remain disciplined. Obviously, these rounds can go awry, as I've mentioned before, very quickly. If you're not careful, if you're overconfident, if you're overzealous, you can get in trouble, especially with the caliber of players we have here. They're so good, so talented, they can turn a small advantage into a round win. Good reveal there. Onto the fade. Smokes will be happening inside of mid to now allow this cat push to come through. It's 4 stacking in towards A, and there's only 2 players on site to deal with this push, but a good smoke into cat will stop this push momentarily.
How patient do the Coyotes play this? That's the real question. Look at the stack being set up over towards this A side. A 3rd player rotating over. A 4th in towards mid now. Choco, I believe, has been seen, and Pivers finds the opening kill. There is still Killjoy utility on this side, but it doesn't look like the Coyotes want to go directly there. Instead, they're entirely switching their avenue of attack. They want to go A, and this is the correct decision. The Blue Devils have left it almost entirely undefended.
So smart from the Coyotes. Now Zach, he can only shoot so many people at once, and they're not
30
just going to do
seconds
the
away.
default strat of just going through tree. Model, they hear it being broken. Now they know exactly where they are. It's the 5-stack rush in through heaven, and Zach has no idea what's going on. He's bewildered. The ammo's coming in, but he somehow finds 3 with the Spectre. Spraying and praying he'll finally be taken down, but it's too little too late. The damage has been done, and it was a good idea. The damage is there, but it will be the Omen holding down the line for the Blue Devils and gathering 3 kills to deny that round. What a play out of Zach to hold the fort down over towards A.
Nearly perfect in theory. The problem is they didn't think that the door would be closed. They wanted to go directly onto the site, but instead they had to go up through tree, through the window, through heaven, and that just gave so much time and audio cues for Hokage Zach to switch their line of sight, and most importantly, switch their attention. With that paranoia being thrown forward, the Blue Devils are able to walk away with the round victory, and they tie us up. The benefit now for the Coyotes is they have guns, and a lot of them. Blue Devils, not so much.
This is probably the best situation. If you're Zach playing this corner, you don't clear this! And Zach grabs 2. Very shocking, actually. They thought they'd be fine. No noise being given. Model will go down. It's a good kill to start off the attack, but Chen Noob just playing with fire. Precise gunplay indeed. Through the wall will find the Sova. And now Choco! A bit of gymnastics there with the satchels. Won't find the kill. Totona with a good flick back over, and it's a 2v2, guns in hand for both sides, but the bomb is down. The time is ticking for the Blue Devils to make an entrance. The spray is there for Chen Noob. Maito will find Destroy Lonely. The turret is gone. The tap is there. Chen Noob moving forward, but it's Maito to solidify the round victory in the Blue Devils. For what seems like the first time all series, they have a lead. It's 8-7, and the Coyotes, they're flustered.
Wild finish as well there for the Blue Devils as well, because they cleared out hell and were like, wait, we saw them play around Generator, yet they haven't been taken care of. Low HP already decided. Obviously able to find that kill and an important pickup as well. Wild finish again for the Blue Devils, and another retake, or, well, site hold that should not have gone their way, yet it does anyway. And now they're walking away with a round victory, a significant economic advantage, and Coyotes, well, they're down by 1 on the disadvantageous side of a map that is not their own. Problems continually mounting for them, and solutions none in sight.
We'll see what the Coyotes turn to, because obviously now their discipline is going to be through the roof after not clearing that corner. They're going to make sure every angle is taken care of. No angle will be unchecked. As Zach now in a different spot over towards tree. This has been his homeland, if you will. Has taken space and just buying time. The Coyotes trying to sniff out where these players are, trying to grab an early pick. Maybe a player from the Blue Devils gets a little bit too antsy, even waiting for an A main flank, as we see Destroy Lonely crouched behind the box. Just buying time. 52 seconds, plenty of time to spare, but it looks like Cat will be the answer. A good smoke will block off Hokage Zach. He's got the flash ready. This could be massive. He takes the peek out instead! And who knows? That's a gun as well. And the upgrade. Totona finds the shots on the model, and that's huge whiffs there coming through from the Blue Devils. The Coyotes have the sight and have control.
They have, however, lost JXQ, who got a little over aggressive. And that dark cover, I don't think extended as far as it probably should have. The Prowler goes through, finds some information. Now the lockdown being put forward, but Lonely's been taken care of. And Shaco has some redundancy below them. Jack Black 9 playing inside of Hell. I'm not sure if they've been cleared, but it may not matter. A 1 versus 1. Totono finds the kill into Chen Noob, but the lockdown did not catch Choco. And Choco plays off the back of it. Kill onto Tetono, another retake here for the Blue Devils as they find a 2-round lead and are looking to run away with Ascent. But remember, the Coyotes still have a bye remaining.
Yep, that was good damage, but this is really where it comes down to the Coyotes and winning this round. They have to do something here. They've lost 5 straight, if you count the last one in the first half. And again, everything was working, but just a little bit too aggressive from JXU. He gives over that first kill for the Blue Devils, and everything changes. The entire dynamic of that round sways, the ebbs and flows. As Tetono, he couldn't play offside. He didn't have time to run towards A main. He had to stand his ground and just take the fight and hope he hits the shots, but it doesn't come true. And a 5-stack towards A main, and here's the aggressiveness from Pivers. He's looking for Broke, he's going for the aggressive play. They hear the shots from Hokage Zach, they know he's in that corner. Do they now? Now they do. The shots are there, but they don't clear the corner in time. And the damage is there. A tornado wave of aggression for the Blue Devils as they deal with every member that counts. It's going to be now a 4v1 as Destroy Lonely alone on Hell. In trouble. They know where he is now. The early peak, the damage is there, and Shednoob grabs 4. The 10th round victory for the Blue Devils, who look like a completely different team as opposed to the first game on Icebox.
A disorganized setup as well there for the Coyotes as they walked forward. They had the recon bolt all the way back towards the backside of Heaven, which landed, sure, but that only has a so far extended radius and doesn't extend all the way to Tetris on the close side. Because of it, they thought they had cleared a corner, of which they didn't. They didn't play off sound cue nor checking the tracers that were going across their screen, and 1 kill found for Hokage Zach, but the most important part of that is that Hokage Zach baited in Chengdu. As soon as they saw the Omen, everybody looked that direction, and everybody also forgot that the Fade was still there. And it was a clean finish as well there for the Blue Devils again.
Pivers spotted Hokage Zach for a brief moment, didn't really recognize it until it was too late. Now Chennoob squares away, takes down JXQ, and Chennoob has really come alive in this series, carrying a brunt of the load for the Blue Devils. Marshall shots will go astray. Maito finds Jack Black 9, and now more aggressive through mid. The bomb is down. Not in a good spot, Dan, and really, if you're the Blue Devils, you can just play this one slow. You know exactly where these two players are. And Chennoob, just confidence oozing through his veins. He's going to take this fight as well. Loses against Totono. But the jumping, the spraying from Maito finds the kill, takes the 11th round win for the Blue Devils, who are now 2 rounds away from moving this to a map 3.
They are not done with this series just yet. And reminder, split the 3rd map. The Blue Devils kind of chose. Granted, it wasn't their direct decision, but they did choose between that and whatever the last ban was. I could not tell you off the top
Pearl.
of my head. Pearl, thank you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, making that decision, obviously a fairly easy one if you're playing at a high school level. Nobody likes Pearl, anymore at least. It used to be a fairly favorable map until Split was added back in. But with Split being the case, the Coyotes, they cannot afford to give up a cent because they've lost any measurable advantage fairly early. Lockdown now used on the defensive side. The walk-in, they didn't clear anything whatsoever, but it may not matter. The lockdown's now been destroyed, and it's a 3v3 as they're trying to get this spike down.
Timing is everything there. Pivers gets into a really good spot. Nightfall
Bring them down.
will tag 1. Pivers will drop down from his aggressive spot towards Market. They know both players are towards the back of Boathouse. And they have a flash as well from Hokage Zach if they so choose. Shots there from Destroy Lonely. Takes down Chennoob. A 2v2. A must-win situation for the Coyotes. The dash in there from Model. 1 tag. Zach will find Jack Black 9. Destroy Lonely. Playing in and out of the smoke, but Hokage Zach has his number. Takes the kill. That's the 3K for the Omen and the 12th round victory for the Blue Devils, who are rejuvenated on Ascent here, who are on match point. And the Coyotes, I mean, they're just not really clearing much. They're just going in, really just kind of seeing what sticks. And Shoko somehow finds 2 kills out of that. Should never happen. But Pivers, he's just going so far forward, you just have to follow up, and there's just no time to clear that space. Clearly, they get punished for it every time.
And the Coyotes are only making small mistakes, but the Blue Devils' ability to shut them down seemingly every single time they make them is scary consistency, especially heading into what may very well be a 3rd map. Coyotes now with 4 ultimates to use. If they're going to go, now is a really good time to do so, but they need to be able to find early advantages. And Recon Bolt being set up, Lockdown is as well. They want to find every measurable avenue of attack on towards this site, but they need to do so quickly. They cannot allow themselves to be caught away, and they won't even have the opportunity. Everybody on the Coyote side is evaporated. The Blue Devils, hailing from Florida, will send us to a 3rd map.
And the Blue Devils look like a completely different team, from 13-2 to 13-7. And this is a series here. Playoffs, round 1. They are not disappointing. This is not going to be an easy road here for the Coyotes out of Ontario. The Blue Devils come up big, a completely different team, just playing with more confidence, playing with more teamwork in their back pocket. We're going to see some replays here from this game, and I mean, it looked good. For a good part of that game, it was 7-5 in favor of the Coyotes in that first half, but they didn't win a single round on attack. They were just not able to find the space into sight. Nothing was clicking, nothing was working, and it really just came down to not clearing corners and just having to deal with really everyone from the Blue Devils stepping up in a big way. But Chen Noob really was a big part of this win for the Blue Devils. You're going to have to see him stepping up again in game number 3 on Split to really solidify this and have the Blue Devils move on into that round 2. Anything you want to add to that, Dan, that you liked from the Blue Devils?
I appreciated their adjustments, playing around the Coyotes setup, allowing them to take over aggression and use their utility, and or just play patiently. That patience paid off, allowing the Coyotes to over-aggress, and then shutting them down for it. Here, for instance, Choco finding a casual double kill and setting themselves up for success later on, and then the final round, just, what, 3 kills? Showstopper, double paint shells, walking with a round victory. That's what the Blue Devils need in their adjustments. They now head to Split as our third map. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, it's the decider here in our first match of the night. We'll see you in a little bit.
Shut things down, and hopefully the Sky that can open things up.
Really, the Sky is probably the perfect agent against Cypher. That Prowler, that Skydog can be used in conjunction with really anything from Pivers. If you use that first, you destroy those tripwires if they are present on that particular site, and then Pivers just gets a free entry if he so chooses. He's going to have that Omen Blind as well to play off of, so plenty of utility for Pivers to work with once he gets onto the attacking side or defense. We've seen in those previous 2 maps, Pivers very willing to take space with utility if he's feeling confident. Has the Frenzy as well, so going to be looking for some early close-range action, potentially towards mid. It's going to be a 4-stack towards B, and they're going to leave the Cypher alone on an island over towards A, watching for any flank opportunities. But obviously in this pistol round, everyone just trying to feel each other out and figure out where everyone's going. But that early wall towards mid, standard stuff. The Blue Devils expect it. They know it's coming. Now it's how you deal with this wall. Do you go through it? Do you go around it? They do spot him on top of the wall early.
I do like that they actually left the Cypher opposite end, because if you have an early rotation that allows for the chance for everyone to sweep over based on their mid positioning to run it into sewer, or where the bomb is right now, to be able to run it through CT. We do have a first blood as Jack Black 9 does take down that Cypher, so as much as that Lurk wants to be able to clear an opportunity, they can't quite do much. They're trying to be able to hop, and they get one as the wall will drop. So Destroy Lonely gets Mito, so there's going to be opposite Sage battle. Doppelganger does drop in, so they're kind of trapped in the middle box right now.
Yeah, the timing was there. Didn't see those players cross through, so Destroy Lonely now going to take that early fight. Hop, skip, and a jump. Has the right clicks ready. Doesn't find the greatest of angles, though, and he will go down. But good damage to Tono. Here's a whole lot of noise. As they enter the site, Hokage Zack will implant the bomb on top of B. And now it's going to be all about the timing, as Jack Black 9 will fall. Totono looking for this kill on top of the bomb. I think someone's there. Oh, just playing with his food at this point. There's going to be a bit of a brief heal. Sky Flash comes through. Good space for Totono. He's got to move forward. He doesn't have no clue where those players are coming from. Had to look right, had to look left. Couldn't do it at the same time, and Model grabs the 3K when it's all said and done.
That one just ended up being a all-in play of a 4-1 split, leaving the Cypher on opposite A, and as soon as they sussed out where that kind of Lurk was hanging out to try and clear A, to then maybe run it through sewer, even back through spawn, that all just kind of fell apart, especially because they ended up losing the 2v1 duel in mid. But, you know, this is this map, as much as they try to open things up, make things go from 90 degrees to 45 degrees based on some of these softer walls, it's still tough to make your engagements. I've been loving A attacks, and sometimes you just have to get quick, and especially off of a lost pistol round, you're going to see that happening a little bit more. Pivers does take down another first blood, so the Blue Devils right now trying to make their attack stick again. They're going to use that fragment, and that's going to be able to clear out another as JXQ drops, and so this attack is looking pretty hefty.
Looking very good so far. Good kills there for Destroy Lonely. Makes it a 2v3, so still decent damage from the Coyotes when this round is all said and done, but can they do more? Still plenty of time to work with, and all it takes is one sheriff shot to get things going for these players. They're so good. when it comes to the game.
Player standing.
That's about knowing where these players are. Totono knows one player is below him, but the bullets just rain down onto Totono. The guns are there, the Vandals are equipped, and now for the Coyotes, this is a must-win situation. With the buy-up here, they're going to have the Vandals, but for the Blue Devils, they have so many guns in their toolkit, even a Bulldog for Chendoob. This is essentially an even round, if you really look at it.
Yeah, this is a hefty bonus. That buy-up on the Vandal into round number 2, that's a question mark, exclamation point, ping into the old chat of like, hey bro, what are you doing? If you don't come away with some kills on that, because that's basically a free buy for the opposite team, especially if they are able to get that win. So in so doing, this is a rough economy, but still becomes a big fight. That win off the Bulldog, showing some discount shots, turning into a big BOGO. So getting another one, as you do have the Coyotes consistently playing a man down in the opening seconds.
That's a Bulldog versus a full rifle there from JXQ, and to win that is so massive, not only for Chendoob's confidence, but also for the team, who now will look to go through mid, but Destroy Lonely deals with Choco, deals with the main controller for this team, and Jack Black 9 finds Chendoob lingering around. Destroy Lonely hitting every shot he can as Mito will fall. Pivers adds insult to injury, takes down Model, and a 4v1, a quick turnaround for the Coyotes, who stamp their foot on round number 3, and Zach will wander aimlessly into the B site, looking at every which way, looking at every angle possible, trying to find some sort of way in, but Destroy Lonely, quick to the head, pierces the hearts of the KO and the skull there, and the Blue Devils lose their first round after 3.
You know, if Destroy Lonely was trying to destroy loneliness, they did a great job making sure to take 3 into that round and keep all their friends up. That wall delay, that's the main play that you're seeing out of Sage, as she's basically built in as a requirement, Sentinel for Split. It's not changed in, what, a year and a half, and it's not going to change now. And, you know, making the best of that situation, the bonus doesn't quite come through all the way, and they were very confident on the side of the SCP Blue Devils to actually just railroad 3 rounds in a row. But instead, they're going to be kind of on this lesser eco due to that challenge, as you have better rifles in hand by the Coyotes and an immediate push. But look at this. This is a 4-1 and opposite of round 1 going into round number 4, where you do have that Cypher all the way across the map, and they're going to start lurking this one through sewer again.
And one thing that you weren't here for in those first 2 games, the Coyotes, especially in map number 1, were so eager to push off and use that rotation play, and this is exactly what the Blue Devils are doing now. The Molly is going to find Destroy Lonely. Good chip damage onto Pivers, and that's going to be the neural theft being used, giving all the intel over to the Blue Devils, who will now slowly lurk through as Chendoob has found a great angle in through alley to find some more space. He's going to be able to clear heaven, going to be able to clear CT. Plant will finally go down, stopped by Mito for a brief moment, but look at this angle from Chendoob. He'll be good for at least 1 kill. Can he make it 2? Choco deals with Jack Black 9, and Mito finds Pivers. Everything clicking for the Blue Devils as they're rifling down after 4. A 3-1 lead for the Blue Devils. And the Coyotes, they're back to square one, back to a pretty awkward buy. What do you do? Do you half buy? It's going to be awkward. Let's see what they end up doing.
I love this play. Coming in from the opposite end, and of course off of the fragment as well, really just taking down the numbers, and then Chendoob, who was able to get that neural theft in the first place to slow down the progressions. I think into this play, you're looking at possibly a half buy, but it looks like they at least want to test it off of a couple of, or even a trio of hero rifles. They know they're going to be on the lesser end of this if they end up losing this round. You see that shorty, so people are going to be playing very ratty if they can, and look at the pushover as well, seeing if anyone wants to come up ramp. That is going to be Pivers that is waiting for anyone to engage up into heaven to see if that's going to happen.
And the smoke actually concealed his entry into that angle, so it's all going to be on these defenders here. Model deals with JXQ. Chendoob will get one more as well, but now Fivers on this flank opportunity. A pincer maneuver for the Coyotes as they hound onto the A site. A revive as well to give numbers back into the Coyotes' favor, as they're going to plant themselves in towards the site. Guns and all, they're going to move forward. And now it's just the Blue Devils hunkering down, waiting for the early peek, waiting for the first contact. A very important 1v1 there for Zach. He loses it. Destroy Lonely, Pivers, they all get involved. And the second round goes the way of the Coyotes. Their second round win here, a big one. And it comes off the back of that revive, giving the numbers in favor of the Coyotes to allow them to just enter in and play for once.
Yeah, Destroy Lonely honestly has been so good on their snapshot contact placements. I mean, just off of that tower, you know that the Cypher is just hanging out. Chen Noob trying to be kind of sneaky about it, and you have to go engage them into their tripwire, but keeping that timing in their favor. And so that is the best outcome, especially into that kind of buy. You get guns back in hand off of the revive, and then you're able to re-engage onto site and just win your duels from the open mid space and then around low towers. So job well done. So the Coyotes, as the Blue Devils are not being allowed to run away with it. I have enjoyed seeing the Blue Devils take these plays from side to side. They've done the first play like they did in the fourth, and now they're bringing in the Blade Storm. I want to see what model can hit some heads, but they're running away from the null command. This is two big ultimates popped. You don't have to face a Blade Storm when you got nothing in your hands.
A good retake opportunity. They're going to have the showstopper. Even an Omen TP and Pivers gets a little bit over-eager. Gets caught out by the Bladestorm model from downtown. Choco! One shot, one kill onto Destroy Lonely, the main man for this Coyotes lineup. The hot hand, he'll fall. Making it a 5v3 situation. Hokage Zack in trouble. The flash gives him the space. Tetono plunges into the site, moving in for more with Jack Black 9 in hot pursuit. They're going to find one. Maito deals with at least one player. That's the Omen gone. And now it's going to be a massive engagement right on top of the bomb, and it will go the way of the Blue Devils, who have the numbers, have the lead, and now will pick up their 4th round win after 6.
That's a great aggressive just push with those two ultimates, because you're going to get great eco value off of the Bladestorm in the first place, and then just clearing sight, especially B, which is so tough to re-engage because there's basically 2 solid windows. Make it 3 if you don't contain the flank lurk off through garage, but you have 1 through CT and 1 up into heaven. So it's one of the best ones to use if you're clearing it either with a Nightfall or with a null command. Job well done. We do have at least some healing ultimates online here. You have the Showstopper defensively from the shadows if you want to flip the script around this map, and then the Seekers if they want to try and re-engage. But there's a revive again up for the Blue Devils. They've been able to plus up their numbers, but this current buy for the Coyotes renders them a little bit reactive. They're going to have shotties in hand, wait for that more close quarters contact.
And Tetono forced off again. It's model. It's Shennu generating so much offense, and they saw Destroy Lonely drop down. They know at least one player is below. Now they see 2. Good shot squared away from model. Deals with the sky, deals with one of the main flashers for this retake. Now it becomes so much more difficult to get onto the site. How are you going to do it? The cage is being placed up as well. In from Alley.
Oh.
And Pivers takes matters into his own hands, flies forward, and gets taken down. Shennu the same fate, taking down Black 9. Tetono will fall. And it's a massacre. Destroy Lonely can do nothing but watch as his Bucky and himself will fall. A flawless round for the Blue Devils. And the Coyotes, they weren't expecting much. It was a save. But again, just the Blue Devils out-macroing and outperforming. At least after these first 7 rounds, this is where it counts. But again, it's still a pretty awkward buy. You're not even getting full shields out of this.
Yeah, if you're going to go into a save, you got to make sure that you have totally enough for armor, util, and your gun. Like, just you gotta kind of sell out. I like the Bucky idea, but you're not gonna be popping 90s Fortnite style from beyond that box with that Bucky, especially when it's a 1v4. So unfortunately, that one kind of renders the Coyotes on the lesser end. They have been able to take these fights though, so it's not like it's been a lost cause. Re-engaging into it, the Showstopper is popped. They don't know exactly where they are, but they do recognize that there is at least the threat of Pivers nearby, but Model has been unafraid to go and face them down to that duelist. Well, call it a duel. Seekers pop out, but the good cabbages are laid to rest, and everyone's still alive for the Blue Devils. Not the same for the Coyotes.
And they're keen to get to this A site. The Neural Theft again up 2 times already in the first half. It's such an easy ultimate to grab. Only 6 kills and you grab it. So now all the information in favor of the Blue Devils. Good kill for Tetono, who finds some mid-range magic against Choco, making things a 3v4. A revive available for the Blue Devils, but how in the hell do you get into this site? You have a Sky Flash to play with potentially, but this wall blocking off. Destroy Lonely trying to jump, trying to do some parkour. Can't do it. needs to break through instead, but Maito hears all of this, has all the information in the world to play with, and the time burning off the clock. Destroy Lonely will actually get through. Totono finds Maito, and this is the angle, this is the chance, but there's no time to play with. They're going to have to find Chennoob right here, right now. 1 kill, looking for 2, but there's no time. Chennoob does his job. The 6th round goes the way of the Blue Devils. They burn enough off the clock to scrape together that round win.
Even worse, after the loss, you will see the Coyotes dropping another couple of big guns that they bought up into right now. I mean, just look, we're at, what, 2,100? I think the most that I saw on anyone was about 3,400 credits. That was a great tag by Totono, but they weren't able to engage in the best timeliness. Totono found 2, and Chennoob living in his fortress of solitude, unable to do much more than simply be between an ice brick and hopes and dreams. But that was all you really need to do when you're a Cypher. Delay, dismiss, defeat the opponents as they try to get on, but there's just not enough time. So Blue Devils, they have another kind of cycle of suck to be able to force the Coyotes into, because they are constantly in these save rotations.
And A is just free. I mean, it just feels like the practice range. They're taking their space. They got it. All right, we're good, guys, in position. And you have that trip that watches over the sewer flank. That's exactly where they're going, but Jack Black 9 will find a cheeky kill with the Spectre, taking down Model, the main duelist for the Blue Devils, and the lockdown from Totono will be used, and this is exactly why they were playing off the site. They have this to play for a retake scenario, and now they're going to get pincered on numerous sides. JXU and Jack Black 9 find 2 kills of their own, and it's gone horrendously bad here for the Blue Devils. It's up to Hokage Zach. Finds 1, finds 2. Can he make it much more? He cannot. He gets taken down. Too much aggression in front of him. Almost makes something out of nothing. And the Coyotes use that lockdown so well, Monkey Man, and they're going to get their 3rd round.
Yeah, that one is a tougher placement for Killjoy because it does render one spot open. It's the last one that was held in that position. It was a great swing by Zach, but they didn't expect the 3rd one to come around from tower, and they started going left, right, but it was left, right. You got to get your DDR moves going if you're going to be able to dance that 1v4. But, you know, they still did some damage, and through our first 9 rounds, Blue Devils are still in a great position. You have all of the From the Shadows. I swear both these Omens are saving that single brain cell to share between each other, because they're probably going to TP to the same spot into that 12th round.
Early wall will be broken extremely early into the round.
Cage triggered.
But that's just now giving the Coyotes the sense that, you know, maybe we could push up mid. Now you have to be worried about it. Totono just going to play off his utility. No reason to peek. If he dies, that's the B side exposed and taken for free. That's the last thing you want. This is what that double sentinel provides, as Model barely shifting out of the site and will walk away with his life. And this is all good information. They now know where that Killjoy is. They could rotate back over to A, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
A's been their favorite place to go. I mean, B's been cool, depending on if they have the Null Command and Blade Storm and just highly aggressive ults, but when you have a revive in hand to be able to plus up your numbers, just play away from the util, because that's, what, a 25-second cooldown when they finally take it off. You do have the tripwire set up for that lurk opposite end, but they're going to be able to get through. That is going to be a big blind off the guiding light, and so the Sky trying to defend it with all their might. They have a 1v4 to have to deal with. They're not able to get the shooting gallery. They do get the spike down, but finally they are put and laid to rest by Hokage Zach. It's a 3v4, and now look at Maito. They're going to be able to catch him off guard here in heaven.
The spike. I know exactly.
It's all on Maito. That neural theft, he's going to know 3 players are up there. The timing. Totono was looking and then moves away. Chennoob finds Pivers, and Zach takes down Jack Black 9. It's a 1v3. Destroy Lonely grabs 1. Can he flick over? Reorients to Maito. Gets the heal off as well to top off his HP just about. Spots just a fraction of Maito, but he can't find the kill. And Chennoob, he's in the camera, breaks the trip. They know exactly where he is. The force away, back towards this main area of the site. We'll find Maito. 1 bullet in the chamber.
Oh,
And he can't do it. Chennoob silences any hope of a comeback, any hope of a clutch. It was a good effort from Destroy Lonely, but it is halted. 11, 5, and 4 for Chennoob on this Cypher, on attack of all things. And a great flank here by Maito that really starts off this actual turnaround from the Blue Devils.
the reason Chennoob can be so good on these attacks first is when they coordinate those 1-4 splits and just be able to kind of open up opposite side sight has been so neat. But also just engaging sight with confidence that your team is going to be able to win their duels. That's been happening a lot with Model, but 11-5. That's no one else's business but that Cyphers. You're going to have the null command come out. They're going to shut down all of this util, and they're going to be able to have a great wall, but that's going to be a need for the revive as your battle bot goes down, but the parade still hits site B. Should be able to get there, get the plan off, and maybe, yes they do, they get the revive on Zach.
Not only they get the revive, but they get the kill as well onto Destroy Lonely. And remember, a save here for the Coyotes, just looking for kills, scrapping around the site. Katono, he's got the Phantom ready though. He'll find that one kill to start things off for the Coyotes as they push back into the site. An important round here. Good pop flash from Zach, but not good enough. Jack Black in trouble. Taken down. Chengdu will find JXQ, and it's Katono alone on the site, waiting, anticipating, lurking, shifting, diving, sliding. It's Chen Noob who finds the kill in the end. 3-8 for the Blue Devils, who again are just firing on all cylinders. A completely different team than Game 1, where they just looked all out of sorts. And right now it's the Coyotes on the back foot, only grabbing 3 rounds after 11.
In best of 3 terms, we would call it a reverse sweep if this one were to continue. It feels kind of, not that, since we're used to best of 5 reverse sweeps and other formations, but still, that's a great recovery. Your map wasn't it in game number 1 off that icebox, so you come in, you make some change-ups, and you just start playing different. Trying to be able to find that first one. Chen Noob will get some extra damage, but they actually take down Pivers, and they'll be able to live through that first engagement, which has been so pivotal for the Blue Devils, really just open up space, and the revive comes through as well. It becomes a 4v4 off of the revive.
Oh wow, they're actually getting a bit aggressive, and they lose all their members, and they had the neural theft available. Choco TPs into the waiting arms of JXU, and I thought for sure they would have rotated off. They knew every player was over towards that A site, but they thought they had a chance. And clearly it was because they didn't want to give over the 3-9 curse. I'm obviously in their headsets as well, so I knew exactly what they were doing. Obviously, I want to throw that round. Monkey Man, it's a classic. Yeah. It really, you don't want to get too good in the first half.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you keep yourself honest, and
right, exactly.
Yeah, there's 2 things that are real: 9-3 curse and pros don't fake. So making sure that 9-3 doesn't exist is extremely necessary for the success plan to go forward. Plus, a bit of an ego check. They wanted to see if they could just say, you know what, we know everyone's here. Let's just see if we can win this gunfight. There's someone to be afraid of, and that is Destroy Lonely. If there's anyone to have to play through, that has been the leader of this squad opposite on the Coyotes. 13-8. Been doing some great work, but they will shut down some abilities off of that 0.9. That is something they're going to have to work through, and Pivers just takes the fight straight to Zach.
The double satchel in, up through heaven. Too much to deal with, and now Model braces for impact. Chen Noob helps out his teammate, but Pivers still on a rampage inside of heaven. Chen Noob, a lot of bullets, but now he's got to worry about his flank. He gets taken down. Pivers with a 3K takes matters into his own hands with the frenzy in hand. That's going to be a big round for the Coyotes, a big start here, because in that last game on Ascent, they didn't win a single round on attacks. This is already a bonus, already a good sign here if you are a Crescent Coyotes fan.
We were talking about Pivers. They had been kind of onto that jet, and compositionally, that agent is about getting some speed, getting in your face, and also be able to hit some precision shots from distance. Whereas right now on the Rays, this is about massive explosive disruption. If you can be able to do the same thing, but now you have basically kind of AoE control with some of those extra blast packs as well as paint shell grenades, then it's just sometimes tough, just too tough to handle. You're gonna have that wall go down, and like you were talking about before, they're gonna try and use that Pathfinder to full effect. They got Spectre's Indifference, and they got 2 in front of them, but it's gonna be a shorty that gets the work done. Opposite of that, the Bulldogs is able to clear out Model, so they know they're hanging out close quarter combat. Chen Noob will drop. Same with Maito. It's a 1v4. All of a shorty in head. I don't know if that's the trade up, man, but they're just waiting for people to come and trade them.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I know exactly where he is.
Yeah.
But you're expecting that. Good 1 kill. But regardless, it will be a formality. Have the buy-up and a big round for the Blue Devils here. You don't want to give the momentum in favor of the Coyotes. They can take that small lead and run away with this game. split, one of those maps where really it's a snowball heavy map, it's an economy based map. If you start losing in the economy game, it's really not going to be fun for you. So many long range gunfights, especially if you're moving towards A, it's going to be tough if Model is hawking over this from that screen's position. And they're going to take it over. Do they look for the double satch play again? But that's going to be a good dagger that spots all 5, and that's going to be an instant rotation, and they know this is coming. Let's see if the Blue Devils can brace for impact.
It's going to be Pivers getting those early shots. They set up that target because they know this is a shooting gallery, and they're going to be able to make the best work of it. That's a great tailwind, and Pivers is able to get another one as Chen Noob will drop 5 HP in a dream for Model. The spike is going to get planted with only 2 of these Blue Devils remaining, and they have not been able to really receive and repel any of this attack by the Coyotes. Gotta be able to work around these dark covers. Choco is not gonna put another one. Maito does find Pivers, so the killing spree will stop off the swing from this mid screen, and Choco is gonna be pushed away into a 1v3 swing. Not the wisest choice, but you gotta make some choices soon because that spike is in fact ticking.
Not enough again. It's becoming tough for the Blue Devils, and that was off the back of the showstopper, off the back of the Sky Flashes, giving the entry in for the Coyotes, and the Blue Devils were just flustered by all of that aggression. And now it's 4 straight for the Coyotes, and a bye here, and a save for the Blue Devils, who are now in a sort of position where they're going to have to scrape together this next round after this one. That's going to be where really everything counts, assuming the Coyotes win this. It'll be all tied up 8-8. You're going to be on both full buys, and that's going to be a huge round. It's going to pay huge dividends for the rest of this game, and the playoff hopes of both of these teams as, again, the Sage Wall up through mid. Good denial of space, but it's going to be instantly destroyed, and they know that the guns are in their favor, Monkey Man. So if you are the Coyotes, do you take this fight towards mid, or do you understand that close quarter combat, maybe not your forte at this very moment, and rotate back over to a different site?
It's looking like they're waiting on a pick. But look, I mean, just look at this lurk. You have Pivers all the way on A, seeing if anyone's going to come through because of all this noise that's happening at mid. And they're actually beginning to move, realizing, hey, no one's biting into this. So let's see if they can play long, but they've left one behind. That you do have your KO that's waiting to engage with anyone that may press up. Destroyer Lonely does in fact get rid of Maito, and Model's having to hang out in ropes. They've just been able to infiltrate so deep, but now they have to get some level of assistance, and that sight line is in fact found, so they're getting some extra intel saying we got to be able to move over. That fight is neutralized in mid, so the Coyotes is in a position where they're going to have to play now into a Blue Devils comp that knows where they are. But again, like you said, they know they're on the lesser side of this bye, so they have the advantage. In fact, they're gonna be able to win that fight now. They're playing off one pickup, and that's gonna have to be the hero rifle that really pops off. It does go into their duelist with Model. They're gonna try and take him on from this A main position.
Look at the HP bars for the Blue Devils. Okage Zack at a sliver, Model at 47 HP, and Pivers takes down the KO. No more flashes here to play with as Model will push forward, gets blinded, gets taken down. Pivers with a double kill. And now Choco just looking to play for exits, trying to be impactful in any which way. The TP over, they heard him. They know where he's at. Pivers, the slow lurk, the slow peek, and he takes the kill. The 3K for Pivers is pure. And he comes up there with a big round. Obviously, you're expecting it with the guns, how they were. But like I said, this is where it counts. 8-8, a timeout from Maito, and a strategy needs to be employed here by this defensive side to deal with this aggression, to stop Pivers. If you stop Pivers, you stop that first initiation. That's what can really get the Blue Devils going. But obviously, they know more than I do. We'll see what they can come up with in theory craft as this timeout progresses.
I've never seen a KO be so necessary to stop the initial burst of a squad more than I have on this map, especially when you just get them with the 0-point knife, and that does slow down Pivers for all of, 10 to 15 seconds, which is just enough to allow your team some headspace. And this is a pivotal moment here, Camel, because both these teams will be on their gun round. This will still be an economy that's looking great for the Coyotes ever since they've been able to get that last one of the previous half. And then this is the turning point, because this could be the first time that we get to see the Coyotes back in the lead since that first half. And Blue Devils, this is also the clinic in how to play away from your Lurk Sentinel, because Cypher has been ineffective much in opposite of what Chengdu was able to do before when that attack was so good. You would think it'd be the opposite. Just think, oh, defensive half, yeah, Cypher, yeah. No, that attack was where Chengdu shined, and we've really not seen them be anything but more of dust and echoes compared to the first half.
But I think this is going to be quick. The pings were coming out, at least throughout that timeout and into the rest of the buy-up phase. They want to flash this right side of B with that Omen blind ready and smoke off heaven. At least that's what I garnered from all the pings going out. And a deep tripwire. Model going to deal with the early dog. Flash is there. Gets rid of Model, at least early on. He's not going to dash away, though. There's the actual paint shells, forcing the issue down to 49 HP. And Chengdu falls through the smoke. Destroyed Lonely takes down Model. And the set play works flawlessly for the Coyotes. It was the Blue Devils calling the timeout, but Coyotes are calling the shots. And now it's going to be a 4v3 situation for the Coyotes, playing off of the site. Now a 4v2. Everything is going their way. And JXQ with a double kill, making it a triple kill potentially, as he'll peer around the corner and find the kill with the Sheriff of all things. JXQ comes alive after that timeout.
JXQ is going to be a wanted player because they just committed a serial killing in the final moment. There was a very weak robot opposite of that, but they knew exactly what was going to happen after that timeout. And then look at this again. They cannot get too aggressive into this buy unless they can confirm that they want to or will be able to at least get a great set of kills, 3 or 4 out of the 5, because right now it is extra coupon day at Crescent Coyotes Stadium. They've been having a great time. They've got guns forever. They've basically got an eco that can last for the remainder of this half, and depending on if they hit 12 early. That Pathfinder's been able to clear basically any level of util, and then they pop right over it. Oh, you're still gonna get stunned. Not quite. It will end just before the Blaze Storm is gonna pop off. They do get one, so Sage goes away, but now the Seekers come out, and Model's stuck in a rough situation in this square. They're trying to escape, but they do get blinded, and everyone that's trying to come in from heaven is getting laid to waste.
Everyone trying to get their bearings, and it's a lot of action. It's a 1v1. The dink is there. The damage to Toto. The bloodbath. It all settles down, and it's to Toto who deals with Mito. And a jovial Crescent Coyotes come alive with that round win. And now it's just everything going their way. Model somehow gets away with this. Was able to updraft one time, misses all the blades, but gets the last ones that count. And that random shot that Toto, as he's walking into the Sage wall, he finds that headshot, and that's all he needs to confirm, hey, I can take the confidence peak and look for that kill. And this is completely different and the exact opposite from the last game on Ascent. Last time it was the Blue Devils who completely shut out the Coyotes. They didn't win a single round in the second half, and right now it is looking like the complete opposite of that. The Coyotes are making sure the Blue Devils have no say in this game as they're back towards mid. And this is the first round in a while, Monkey Man, that no Sage Wall is actually present.
Yeah, they're trying to play either to not have to buy into that util right now, recognizing that their eco has been kind of stymied based on these high buy-ups, or they're just trying to play together. And look, I mean, you have that buddy cop movie going on between the two Sentinels in Heaven on A, so they just want to be in a different compartment, maybe confuse, maybe just get Coyotes in a weird headspace about it. But they've actually changed up their game plan. You will have the Guiding Light that does sound off. The Paranoia comes through, and they're going to try and do the same thing. The Pathfinder does go out, but the wall does come up to be able to guard them. A safe haven for themselves to get onto site. JXQ takes care of Model. They're looking to that CT rotation, and they do get sighted, but Zach is going to have to deal with this as well. They put the fragment out. That's a little bit of extra chip damage, but the spike does get planted.
That's going to be difficult. Shokodo makes it easier, but the kills flood back the other way. The rebound of aggression for the Coyotes is now it's a 4v2 onslaught.
Oh.
And the revive, it's going to be a bait and switch, but now it's just a line of fire for Destroy Lonely. Makes it look easy. He grabs the 3K and the 11th round victory for the Coyotes, who are going back to this B site over and over and over again and exposing the defense. And you'd think with a double Sentinel comp, Monkey Man, it would be easy to hold down both sites. But right now, the Blue Devils are struggling to deal with the aggression, and credit that to Destroy Lonely. Pivers, who had 5 kills in the first half, he's ballooned up to 19. He's starting to fire. And really everyone, nobody on that team is really struggling right now for the Coyotes. Everyone pulling their weight, and that's exactly why they're starting to win this game and just pull away.
Yeah, this was Pivers and JXQ coming into to their proper form. Because whenever we had Totono, who just got Maito on that exchange, as well as Destroy Lonely, they were the two Sentinels kind of left behind trying to respond. The revive does get Pivers back on the field. So this becomes a 5-on-4 again with Coyotes. And a man advantage. Model. He's going to cross over. They're going to take a lot of util in their face to include a Paranoia as well as Blast. That Pathfinder may be trying to stun him, and then Model does eventually drop. Stuck between an ice wall and a hard place is going to be Pivers. They get taken away, but Zach is also traded. Choco stuck in this corner, and this is one away now from the Coyotes being able to bounce back. They have not dropped around in this half, Camel.
Match point.
And right now the Blue Devils are imprisoned on this defensive side, and Split, notorious for being a defensive-sided map, but right now the Coyotes are just too much to deal with for the Blue Devils. It's a gloomy sight in the Blue Devils camp. You haven't won a single round, and right now I'm looking at 8 straight for the Coyotes. It was 4-8 for the Blue Devils. It looks so good. It looks so clean in the first half, but everything is falling apart, collapsing before their very eyes. And now you go back towards mid, you go back towards B, no Sage Wall present. The Sage Wall is all the way up through A main, covering a flank, and this just shows how scared the Blue Devils are of every lurk opportunity the Coyotes have taken. And they're just waiting. They're buying time. The lockdown's going to be used. That's going to force 2 rotations over, and this could be a bait and switch back towards A. We'll see what the Coyotes end up wanting to do, but now they have full control of the map.
We got full control of the map, of the minds of the Blue Devils. They have no idea where they're pressing in from, and that really just opens up so much extra space. No one detained. Shouldn't be. It's just as much spray and pray as Choco can do. Extra damage and 1 kill. And then, oh no, giving themselves up. They're able to at least exchange another. They find 2. A second. A little bit of a fadeaway jumper on that style of shot. They will be able to get their camera on site. And the Neural Theft does come in live and active. If there was ever a time that a Cypher needs to be huge, it's got to be right now. The Seekers go above. They see 1 ping out, and they do get a spray, but they're not quite down and done. Chen Noob versus 2 very hurt players. They have to be able to swing out, but they will be swung down. Crescent Coyotes, 9 in a row on their attacking half. They'll take this one 2-1 over the SCP Blue Devils.
9 in a row from the Crescent Coyotes, who hail from Ontario, coming up with a big victory there over the Blue Devils. It was looking so good in that first half of play, but everything falls apart in the second half for the Blue Devils, as we're going to see some replays from that game in just a moment. And after the first half, we thought, you know, maybe a couple rounds go the way of the Coyotes, but the Blue Devils seem to have this on lock, but everything falls apart, and credit that to really every single player of the Coyotes stepping up. In particular, JXU had a big performance, Pivers was popping off, and Destroy Lonely was just holding down the fort, being that anchor, that old reliable that you so desperately need in these types of games. And this is a game 3. This was playoffs. This was your life on the line, and the Coyotes come up big there. They come in as the higher seed, 16 versus 18, and they're going to come away with this moving on to the second round of play.
It looks so good going into that next half. There was so many fantastic plays. We were looking at Destroy, Lonely, and Totono that were just trying to be able to keep the damage to a minimum, especially as they were just suffering round after round. But when it came to that next half, Blue Devils, they were on their heels completely and utterly. They were just being pushed back by the aggressive composition that was that Raze and Sky, and I call that move right now by Totono. That's the fadeaway jumper. That's where you're just taking that last shot before the wall, seeing if you could just be able to get an and 1.
Yeah, easy. The Dirk fadeaway, always. It's going to happen. And, I mean, that's just it. The Coyotes, a suffocating Game 3 on Split, and they're going to be moving on to round number 2. They will await their opponent. And, well, that will do it for us here for this first match. Hail Monkey Man, you have more work to do. I will be out of here, so whoever is casting with you, I hope they enjoy their time as well. Thank you to Dan as well for casting those first 2 games. It was a pleasure casting with him and you as well, Hail Monkey Man. Hope you guys have a safe and pleasant night. We'll be back after a short break.